The alarm hit me before I even opened my eyes. A sharp red light spun across the ceiling of my bunk room, and the ship's voice repeated the same line over and over. Reactor pressure rising. All engineering staff report now. My name is Kess, and I am a Vulpine, a fox-like being from a world far from Earth. I work as a botanist on a small trade ship called the Wayfinder. That morning, I was not thinking about plants. I was thinking about how fast I could run without falling over my own tail. I pulled on my uniform and rushed into the hallway. Metal walls shook a little under my paws. Somewhere below us, deep in the ship, something was wrong with the power core, and if it was not fixed soon, all of us on board would be in serious danger. I turned a corner and almost ran straight into Laura Whitfield, our chief engineer. She was already moving fast, her hair tied back, a tool bag over her shoulder. "Kess, move," she said, not even slowing down. "I need hands, not questions." I did not argue. I followed her through a narrow passage that led down toward the engine room. The metal floor was warm under my feet, warmer than it should have been. A low humming sound grew louder as we got closer, like something large trying to hold in a scream. We reached the engine bay, and the heat hit me first. Steam rose from a cracked pipe near the main core. Sparks jumped from a control panel that should never spark. Laura did not stop to stare at it the way I did. She dropped to her knees beside the panel and started pulling wires out with her bare hands, fast and sure, like she had done this 100 times before. "Talk to me," she said. "What do the readings say?" I looked at the screen beside her. Numbers were climbing, red lines crossing over each other in a pattern that made my stomach drop. "The core temperature is rising every few seconds," I said. "If it keeps going like this, we have maybe 10 minutes before the whole system fails." "Then we don't have 10 minutes," she said. "We have 5, because I like a safety margin." She was already moving toward the coolant valve on the far wall. It was stuck, rusted from age, refusing to turn. She pulled at it with both hands, but it did not budge. "Kess, get over here and pull with me," she said. I ran to her side. My tail brushed against a hot pipe and I yelped, jumping back for a second, before forcing myself to grab the valve again. Together we pulled. My claws dug into the metal, my whole body shaking with the effort. Slowly, painfully, the valve began to turn. A rush of cold gas shot out of the pipe beside us, and the loud humming sound dropped just a little. Not enough. The numbers on the screen kept climbing. "It's not enough," I said, my voice higher than I meant it to be. "The main line is still blocked somewhere." Laura wiped sweat from her forehead and looked around the room fast, her eyes scanning every pipe and panel, like she was reading a map only she could see. "There," she said, pointing to a section near the ceiling. "That valve up there feeds the whole system. If that one is stuck too, we're fixing this the hard way." She grabbed a metal ladder from the wall and started climbing, before I could even offer to help. I stayed below, watching the numbers on the screen, my heart pounding harder with every second that passed. The room was filling with steam now, thick and white, making it hard to see. "Kess, I need another pair of hands up here," Laura called down. "Now." I climbed after her, my paws slipping once on the wet metal rungs. When I reached the top, I could see the second valve, rusted shut just like the first one. Laura was already pulling at it, but her hands kept slipping from the heat and the steam. "Use your tail," she said suddenly. I stared at her. "What?" "Your tail. Wrap it around the handle below mine. Give us more grip." "Just do it, Kess, we don't have time." I did not question it again. I wrapped my tail tightly around the lower part of the valve handle, while Laura gripped the top. Together, with everything we had, we pulled. The valve screamed against the rust, refusing to move for one long, terrible second. Then it gave way all at once, spinning fast, and a huge burst of cold gas rushed through the pipes below us. The humming sound dropped sharply. The red lines on the far screen slowed their climb, then stopped, then began falling back down toward normal. The steam in the room started to clear. We climbed down the ladder together, both of us breathing hard. Laura sat on the floor with her back against the wall, and I sat beside her, my tail still tingling from the heat of the metal. "That," she said between breaths, "was closer than I like." "I thought my tail was going to catch fire," I said. She laughed, a real laugh, tired but warm. Your tail probably saved this ship. I hope you know that. I looked down at my tail, singed slightly at the tip, and felt something strange and proud rise in my chest. Later that day, after the engineers confirmed the reactor was stable, I found myself standing outside the mess hall with my bunkmate, an older Vulpine named Doran. He had heard about the reactor problem and wanted every detail, but what he really wanted to talk about was something else entirely. "So," Doran said, leaning against the wall with a grin, "you used your tail to save the ship. That is very impressive, very human of you." "What does that mean?" I asked. "Humans like tails," he said simply, like he was stating a fact everyone already knew. I gave him a long look. "You told me that before. It got me into trouble the first time." "Trouble how?" I did not want to explain the whole story, how I had once tried to show off my tail to Laura in a way that made no sense to her at all, how she had looked at me with worry instead of interest, how I had felt my face grow hot with embarrassment for days afterward. Some memories are better left in the past. "Never mind," I said. "Just tell me what you mean this time." "I mean," Doran said, "that Laura has told half the crew about how you used your tail to fix the reactor. She thinks it is the cleverest thing she has seen in years. You should hear her talk about it. She called you brave." I felt my ears lift slightly at that word. Brave was not a word people used about me very often. Careful, yes. Nervous, often. Brave, almost never. I found Laura later that evening in the engine bay, doing one last check on the pipes we had fixed together. She looked up when I came in, and there was no worry in her eyes this time, only something calmer, something that looked like respect. "Come to check on your tail," she said, smiling. "It's fine, by the way, barely even singed anymore." "I came to say thank you," I said, "for trusting me up there, for not laughing when I panicked." "You didn't panic," she said. "You climbed a ladder in a room full of steam and stuck your tail into a burning hot valve because I asked you to. That's not panic, Kess, that's trust." I did not know what to say to that, so I said nothing at all, and for once, the silence between us did not feel awkward. It felt easy, like something had settled into place that had been unsteady before. "You know," she said, packing her tools away, "Doran told me you were worried humans only liked tails in some strange formal way, like a display, or a ritual." My whole body went stiff with embarrassment. "He told you that?" "He tells everyone everything, Kess. It's kind of his whole personality." She laughed again, softer this time. "For what it's worth, the truth is a lot simpler than whatever he made you believe. I like your tail because it's part of you, because it helped save this ship today, because you're not afraid to use every part of yourself when it matters, even the part you're probably most self-conscious about." I felt my tail curl slightly behind me, warm and content, and I let it. There was no reason to hide it anymore, not from her. "For a moment up there," I said quietly, "I thought we were not going to make it." "We always make it," she said, closing her tool bag with a click. "That's the job. Things break, we fix them, and somehow we're still standing at the end of the day." She walked past me toward the door, then stopped and looked back. "Get some rest, Kess. Tomorrow there's a whole cargo hold of plants waiting for you, and I doubt any of them will try to explode." "I would not be so sure," I said. "Some of them are quite temperamental." She smiled at that, a real, easy smile, and walked out of the engine bay, leaving me alone with the quiet hum of the ship around me. Steady now, safe now, the danger past. I looked down at my tail one more time, turning it slightly in the dim light. Doran had been wrong about almost everything he had ever told me about humans. But somehow, in the end, he had also been right about the one thing that mattered most. Humans did like tails. They just liked them for reasons far better than I had ever imagined. Reasons built from trust, from courage, and from the simple act of standing together when everything around you is falling apart. And as the ship settled into its quiet nighttime rhythm, I found myself looking forward to whatever came next, no longer afraid of the parts of myself I used to hide,